The Lord has asked me to give you this urgent message. You didn't come across this video by chance. What I'm about to tell you isn't for just anyone. This communication is intended for one person in particular, and that person is you. In recent days, a major event has taken place in the spiritual world. A man of prayer, gifted with vision and revelation, was deeply moved when shown a simple photograph. The image of an individual he had never met, an ordinary person in the eyes of the world, but deeply marked in the spiritual world. Contemplating this image, he began to tremble. His eyes filled with tears. His voice became troubled. What he perceived was so powerful, so charged with heavenly significance, that he immediately stood up and declared, "This person carries something the world has not yet understood, but heaven already recognizes her. That person is you. Don't take this lightly. Don't close this message, because what will be revealed here could shed light on the reasons for your struggles, unexpected attacks, delays, anxieties, and even deliverances that you failed to grasp until now. If you feel that something is disturbing, that your spiritual life is in jeopardy, that people are drifting away for no reason, that doors are closing without explanation, then this message is for you. Stay with me until the end. God will show you the truth, and the enemy will be exposed. A startling revelation, the vision that made the seer tremble that day. The environment was peaceful. The meeting had begun like any other. Prayers were recited, words were spoken, but suddenly everything changed. An envelope was placed in the hands of the clairvoyant. Inside, there was only one photograph. It was your image. He didn't even know your name. However, as she touched the photo, something passed through her soul like an electric current. Her body shuddered. Her eyes lifted to the sky, and he began to pray aloud fervently, "Lord, who is this person? Why is his presence so strong? Why do I feel such a spiritual weight?" What he saw at that moment was not your face, but your spiritual essence. He perceived the traces of battles fought, scars that exist only in the invisible world. He glimpsed a war around your life, but he also discerned a divine seal on your forehead, a spiritual sign that you are guarded, protected, and chosen by God. He said something no one else would dare say. This person has a sacred mission, and that's why he's so strongly attacked. The enemy tries to turn her off before she discovers his call. You're not like other people. Your life disturbs the darkness. That's why it's imperative that you understand what's going on around you. Continue with me. What will be revealed in the following chapters will open your eyes and prepare your mind. The Spirit of the Lord spoke clearly. After this moment of spiritual impact, the seer fell to his knees. He was overwhelmed by tears. His breathing was ragged, as if an invisible force were pressing down on him. Everyone around him was silent. Nobody understood what was happening, but he knew. He had just received a direct order from heaven. The Lord's voice was clear, firm, and unforgettable. "Go and let it be known. This soul was marked from the womb. I chose it. But forces are trying to divert it. Time is running out. She must wake." Up now, this was no ordinary revelation. It was an urgent call. Something spiritual had been released in that instant. There was a heavenly weight in every word. The seer then struggled to his feet, as if each step were frozen by invisible resistance. But he obeyed and began to write the message that now reaches you. This message has crossed physical barriers, algorithms, and platforms. I invite you to take a moment to thank God for this special call to you. It has crossed crowds and reached your heart at this very moment. This is no accident. This is a precise spiritual movement. It's a direct response from God to your suffering, to your inner cry, to your silent prayers. There are nights when you've gone to bed with a heavy heart, wondering, why am I going through this? Why have so many people drifted away from me? Why is this happening? It seems that something is blocking my life when everything is finally going in the right direction. Why so many attacks for no reason? The answer has arrived. The Spirit of the Lord has come to meet you and is now revealing that you are far more valuable to the kingdom than you imagine. That's why so many attacks have taken place. But today, I comfort you. Today, I lift you up. Today, I prepare you for what is to come. Many have not understood your journey. Others have mocked your faith. Some even doubted your spiritual strength. But God has not forgotten you. His Spirit has been with you through every tear, every loss, every moment of discouragement. And now He says to you, rise up, for the time of the dungeons is over. I chose you to impact lives, and the battles you fought were not there to destroy you, but to strengthen you. You are being separated for something greater. It all starts with this, revelation. You need to understand what has been seen in your life, what is about to be activated, and how to protect yourself from what the enemy is still trying to use against you. This is only the second part. What follows will be even stronger. Your image was not presented by chance. Heaven is watching you. You may not realize it yet, but that photo, the one captured perhaps with no particular intention, was placed before spiritual eyes for a reason far greater than you can imagine. In the visible world, it might have seemed mundane, but in the spiritual world, your presence bore signs. Your face bore the marks of struggles that few perceive, and God allowed this image to be revealed to someone capable of seeing beyond the physical, a chosen one endowed with prophetic gifts, able to discern hidden mysteries in people. This photograph did not reach the seer by pure chance. This was no coincidence. The envelope it was in had been kept for days, but it was only at this precise moment, at the moment God had decided, that it was opened. The moment He looked at your image, something shook the atmosphere. Heaven reacted. It was as if the Father was saying, here is one of my children, a soul marked by purpose, a life surrounded by promise, but also attacked by forces seeking to prevent its victory. Have you ever felt like you were being watched? Have you ever felt that something greater is at work around you, even without explanation? It's not paranoia. It's a spiritual sensitivity. The spiritual world perceives you because there's a light in you that can't be extinguished. Your photo has been noticed because you have already been seen by God. Before you were formed in your mother's womb, He already knew you. Even before you understood what faith is, heaven was already in calling you by name. And now it's time for you to grasp why so much resistance, so much loss, so much delay is because you've been separated. You carry a light that disturbs the darkness, and the devil has tried everything to hold you back, but he has not succeeded, nor will he. You're still here, and just listening to this message is proof that heaven is still fighting for you. Perhaps you have no one to advise you. Perhaps you've already felt forgotten, abandoned, or lost. But listen carefully. Heaven is watching you. The angels are watching over you, and God wants to tell you, I see you. I haven't given up on you. And now, I'm revealing what's been hidden for so long. And if you believe that this message is really for you, I invite you to write a comment thanking God. It's not just a comment. It's a prophetic act, a public response to heaven, as if to say, I have heard, I have understood, I have accepted. Your image has been glimpsed, your soul has been touched, and your moment has arrived. What has been discerned in you is about to be transformed. Most people go through life without realizing the true spiritual weight they carry. They walk this world as if they were ordinary, while in the invisible realm, every step they take is watched, challenged, or protected by forces few are aware of. But for you, it's been different. What was revealed at that moment was of such power and rarity that it left the seer speechless for a few moments. He perceived an ancestral anointing. He understood that you carry within you a promise from your spiritual lineage, a sacred heritage that had lain dormant until now. There was a bright light above your head, a kind of aura that didn't come from you but rested on you. It was as if heaven had placed an invisible crown, a spiritual seal reserved only for those chosen for particular missions. He observed marks that the world cannot distinguish, signs of resistance, of surpassing oneself, of fidelity. He saw that despite trials, despite wounds, despite abandonment, you never ceased to hope. That's what makes you unique. Most people give up along the way, but you persisted, even without knowing precisely why, even without knowing all the answers, even in the face of betrayal, indifference, underestimation, you kept going. The clairvoyant has grasped this fact. He saw that you crossed deserts where others would have declined. He saw that you were surrounded by lies, injustice, silent envy, but he also noticed that all this forged something in you, a strength, an authority, a connection with God that can't be explained, only felt. That's why everything is changing. Now, there are times in life when God decides to act. He observes how far you can go. He measures the resilience of your faith, and at that moment, he intervenes with justice, direction, and transformation. What has been perceived in you has triggered this era. From now on, you'll start to see signs. People who used to ignore you will start to take an interest in you. Previously blocked situations will begin to unlock. Doors that seemed closed forever will begin to open, because the hour of revelation has arrived. However, with this activation also comes responsibility. You were not called simply to survive. You've been destined to impact, to illuminate, to liberate those trapped by the pain you've managed to overcome. Every experience you've had has been a preparation. Every tear has been a seed. Every disillusionment has been a training. And now it's time for the harvest. The world doesn't know who you are yet, but the spiritual world already does. The forces of darkness know. And heaven is about to lift you up in a way that no one can dispute. If you feel this confirmation within you, declare it in the comments. With faith, something inside me was activated. I'm ready to experience what God has prepared. Yes, write that down. For this declaration is like a seal. It's like a key you turn yourself. What has been seen in you is so grand that your own mind struggles to grasp its magnitude. But God has already seen the end of this story, and He says it's good. Now continue to listen carefully, for there are more revelations that will bring you clarity as to why the enemy is so hell-bent against you, and why he's so afraid of what's coming. You are not the product of chance, luck, or coincidence. From the very beginning, a spiritual war has been waged around you, and there's only one explanation for it. You've been marked by God. Yes, marked. There's something about you that can't be erased no matter how hard you try. A mark imperceptible to human eyes, but perfectly visible in the spiritual realm. Angels recognize it, while demons dread it. And it's precisely for this reason that you've gone through so many struggles, many of them still unexplained. Have you ever wondered why some people seem to advance without great hardship? while you find yourself carrying a burden that no one perceives. Have you ever felt exhausted for no apparent reason, crushed at unexpected moments? Have you ever cried without knowing why? Have you ever felt empty, even when surrounded by people? This is not weakness, it's a spiritual awakening. For when you bear a celestial mark, you also become a target for the dark forces. This mark on your life represents a goal, a mission, a destiny. That's why the enemy so often tries to harm you. He tries to distract you with unsuitable people, toxic relationships, illusory opportunities, fabricated fears, and old traumas. He knows that if you wake up, if you become truly aware of who you are, nothing can stop him. This mark you wear was not implanted by human hands. It comes directly from God, at a spiritual moment that predates even your own memory. You are destined for great things. Today, your spiritual identity is being restored. The veil is lifting. Confusion is dissipating. You begin to feel that you don't fit into any environment. Certain conversations no longer resonate with you. Friendships that seemed solid have simply vanished. Places that once attracted you now feel uncomfortable. This is a sign that your brand is beginning to shine with greater intensity. The spiritual world is already aware of this. The heavens have already begun to mobilize angels on your behalf, and, aware of this, the enemy is intensifying his attacks, distractions, and temptations. But he's already late. God has already marked you. And those whom God has marked, no one can erase. This mark protects you. It guides you. It legitimizes you. Even if the world rejects you, the brand remains. No matter how many unjustified accusations are leveled at you, the mark remains intact. No matter how many people try to destroy you, with words, criticism, or slander, the mark doesn't disappear. It's not subject to the approval of others. It rests solely on God's promise. And that promise is alive in you. If you feel this message accurately describes what you're going through, leave a comment expressing your gratitude to God. I am marked by God, and nothing can erase that mark. Write it with conviction. For every word spoken or typed with spiritual intent becomes a decree in the invisible world. It's your answer to heaven, a sign that you understand what is being revealed and are ready to take your place. Don't run away from this reality any longer. No longer deny your essence. No longer minimize what God has placed in you simply to please others. The time for your revelation has arrived, and the spiritual world has already recognized who you are. Now it's up to you to recognize it too. Angels surround you, but there's also envy and attack. Have you ever felt a force or being watching over you at times when all seemed hopeless? Have you escaped situations that could have ended tragically? Have you received deliverances that no one can explain? It wasn't luck. It was divine intervention. You're surrounded, but not in just any way. There's an angelic movement around you that's been accompanying your every step for a long time, long before you were aware of it. There is constant spiritual vigilance over your existence. The angels of the Lord stand by your side, but the presence of these angels also reveals something few can understand. You are in the midst of a spiritual battle. Those who are singularly guarded are also specifically attacked. And even without being fully aware of it, you have already penetrated spiritual territories that have already generated invisible reactions. The envy you feel from people close to you, the envious glances from those who should be supporting you, that heavy atmosphere in places that used to be pleasant, all have their origin in the spiritual. Have you ever walked into a place and felt the urge to leave immediately, as if there was something wrong with the air? Have you ever been around someone who smiled, but within you there was a deep sense of concern, a feeling of alertness? This reveals your spiritual sensitivity, awakened by the angelic presence that accompanies you. Your angels give you a glimpse of what your eyes cannot see, but it's crucial to understand that with greater protection comes greater intensity of attack. The angels are there, but the enemy is also watching, annoyed by the resistance you express, by the faith that hasn't been extinguished despite the trials, by your determination to move forward even though the ground seems to give way beneath your feet. The envy that surrounds you is not just about your achievements, but touches your very essence. People are jealous of the things you don't even realize you're carrying, like your inner peace, your radiance, your ability to get back up even after being hurt. These individuals perceive something they can't explain, and out of ignorance they attack. Often, these attacks come from those around you, from your home, your family, or your circle of trust. In fact, the enemy exploits the circles closest to you to try to hurt you at your most vulnerable points, knowing that he can only inflict real wounds from within. However, the Lord enjoins you to bear in mind that the angels remain at your side, and they will not forsake you. Even if 1,000 fall on your left and 10,000 on your right, you will not be touched. The Lord will order his angels to watch over you in all your ways. Even when you're resting, when you're feeling weak, or when you're feeling lost, they're still there, faithful and attentive, just waiting for a sign from heaven to act on your behalf. If you feel that these words echo your reality, don't hesitate to make a comment that glorifies God. Divine protection is also essential. Although envy is strong, God's promise is even greater. Don't let fear silence you. Don't let attacks immobilize you. Heaven is already a bulwark around you. The enemy has been identified, and it's now up to you to take a stand. From this moment on, everything that was hidden begins to reveal itself. Every action of the enemy against your life will be turned into a testimony. For the Lord will not only protect you, he will lift you up before the eyes of those who have doubted your success. The enemy is furious because you have something very precious inside you. There's a reality inside you that he's been trying to destroy ever since you were born. Perhaps you don't think your existence has much value. Maybe you think you're not unique, that there's nothing exceptional about you. But that's exactly what the enemy wants you to think. If you were to grasp the truth, if you really understood who you are in the spiritual realm, any attempt by the enemy would be doomed to failure. What's present in you is rare and invisible to material eyes. It's a blend of vocation, promise, resilience, and grace, a spiritual composition that hell abhors. That's why your battles often seem more intense than those of others. The enemy is aware that you carry something capable of transforming the lives of others. He recognizes that your voice has power, that your presence can change atmospheres, that your spirit is filled with light. He knows that if you awaken fully, you will have the ability to liberate, heal, transform, and break chains. That's why he tried to harm you. Have you ever taken the time to reflect on the many times when suddenly your motivation disappeared? How many times have thoughts of discouragement popped up in the middle of a promising journey? How many times have you felt a weight in your soul for no apparent reason? Could this oppression be spiritual, not psychological? It's a direct assault on your identity. When God breathed his spirit into you, he bestowed upon you a precious gift, something inaccessible to purchase, impossible to reproduce, and which cannot be destroyed by human words. It's precisely for this reason that you've been confronted with sudden losses, painful relationships, betrayals that have left their mark. and dreams that seemed to fade away just before they came to fruition. Each suffering you experienced was not in vain. These trials were attempts to shake your confidence in your worth. But here's the truth. What God has placed in you, no one can ever take away. Not envy, not abandonment, not delays, not hurtful words spoken against you. Nothing, absolutely nothing, has the strength to steal what heaven has entrusted to you. The only way the enemy could triumph would be if you gave up, if you remained silent, if you renounced the divine promises. That's why he uses underhand strategies like discouragement, loneliness, comparison, and distraction. His goal is to gradually extinguish your inner flame. He wants you to doubt what you're hearing now. For he knows that if you believe, if you rise up, he will lose another battle. But you won't let it get you down. Not right now. Not after everything you've already overcome. Not after all the maneuvers heaven has pulled to get you here. And if you feel in the depths of your soul that this message is about you, please feel free to say so in the comments. The enemy is enraged, but God is your protection. You carry within you something powerful. Write this in faith. Shout it out to the spiritual world with your words, because by recognizing your spiritual value, you activate your shield of divine protection. You are the bearer of a legacy that will touch generations. Your existence is eternal. That's why so many struggles have surfaced against you. But none of them destroyed you. For he who holds precious treasure is protected by the hands of the Most High. Now something extraordinary is about to happen. It all begins with the revelation you've received so far. The prophecy that has been hidden is beginning to manifest itself. From now on, there are words that were spoken over your life long ago. Words you may not know were spoken in the secret. Of a departed loved one's prayer, on a parent's night of supplication, or even declared in the heavens before you were born. This prophecy, which had lain dormant for years, is finally beginning to awaken. It's as if God had kept specific promises in a spiritual vault, waiting for the moment when you'd be ready to welcome them. And that moment has finally arrived. You feel it, even if you can't explain it, but your spirit is stirring. Something inside you is awakening, a heightened sensitivity, a deeper perception, an urgency that's growing day by day. It's not a pipe dream, but a spiritual activation. The hidden prophecy that is about to unfold in your life has 3 characteristics that need to be clearly understood. And Heth, it's much bigger than you can imagine. What God has planned for you isn't limited to your personal well-being. It transcends your finances, social relationships, and temporary comforts. This prophecy is designed to change lives. You are part of something that shapes destinies. When God blesses you, others will be affected. Through your transformation, protections have been put in place without you realizing it. Do you think the accidents avoided, the doors closed, the invitations declined were mere coincidences? No, they were divine strategies to preserve the prophecy within you. God has guarded your path, even at times when you thought you were alone. There's a reason behind every rejection you've received. It starts with obedience, but comes to fruition with positioning. Many are called, but few really take a stand. Prophecy is not fulfilled by emotion, but by action. God has already shown you the way. Now it's up to you to choose to take it. It requires faith, it requires courage, it requires sacrifice, but the result will be extraordinary. Have you ever realized that your life is not ordinary? Have you felt this truth in conversations that no longer fill you, in places that have lost their meaning, in cycles that end without explanation? All this is God adjusting the scenery, preparing the ground, eliminating what's not part of your path, purifying the way so the promise can move freely toward you. And when it comes, it won't just touch your reality, it'll transform your whole story. You'll remember these words, look back and understand that this moment here was a turning point, the moment when heaven moved to confirm all that had already been foretold. Now is the time. Now is the hour. If your heart burns to hear these words, if something in you confirms that this prophecy belongs to you, then write in the comments with sincere faith. The promise was hidden, but I'm ready to live it. Let it come true in me. Write as if you were signing a spiritual contract with heaven, not out of impulse, but out of conviction. For when you declare with faith, the spiritual world reacts, and all that seemed distant begins to draw near. Prophecy is no longer in the shadows. It has been activated, and the heavens are inclined to fulfill every word. What is happening is so immense that neither attacks, nor losses, nor delays can hinder it. Everything was orchestrated. Even the pain was part of the plan, because God always knew you'd be here at this very moment. You have a calling, and it's time to stop ignoring it. There comes a time in life when everything converges on a single truth. You're not here just to exist. You have a mission to accomplish. There's something inside you that cries out to be manifested. A restlessness, an emptiness that nothing in this world can fill. You can try to distract yourself with activities, material goals, relationships, achievements, but deep down, you know there's something more. That something more is your spiritual calling. You feel it when you pray and cry without knowing why. You feel it when you enter a place where your soul clings. You feel it when you're alone in silence and your being begins to converse with God in a dialogue that no one hears, but which you feel like a cry from the soul. You are destined for something great, and that something is not insignificant. Even when you tried to hide, God found you. Even when you walked away, He protected you with help. Even when you were silent, the call remained present, beating like a living seed that refuses to die. Your call can no longer be ignored. How many times have you found yourself counseling others, even while broken inside? How many times have words crossed your lips with an authority you didn't even understand? How many times have you prayed for someone and the situation changed on the spot, even without full awareness of what you were doing? This doesn't happen by chance. It's your calling at work, even when you try to ignore it. God has chosen the unlikely, and you're one of them. You may think that you lack experience, that you don't have the necessary qualifications, that you don't have the strength, that you've already made too many mistakes, that you're not up to the task, but God knew all that when He called you. What He wants is not perfection, but willingness, commitment, and authenticity. He says to you now, son, I'm calling you again. I protected you. I loved you when no one could see you. Today, I invite you to reconnect with what truly belongs to you. Ignoring this call comes at a high price. How many times have you felt disconnected from life? How many opportunities have you passed up, not because of a lack of competence, but because you were distanced from your true mission? How many doors have you tried to kick down when God wanted to show you another way? Today, the time of confusion is coming to an end. God is realigning you, but there's one essential thing to understand. This call requires a response. He doesn't force, He invites. He doesn't shout, He whispers. Now that whisper has sounded like a trumpet, that restlessness has become a cry, and this message represents the last call before full awakening. Ignore it no longer, flee no longer. There's a call waiting for you, and it's bigger than anything you've experienced so far. If you feel this divine summons in your spirit, write in the comments, I accept my call. I'm ready to obey. Write as if you were standing before the throne of God, saying, here I am, no matter your age, situation, or background. When God calls, He empowers. When we are awakened, we are transformed. When God points a way, He sustains us. It's time. You've been preserved until now for this reason. Every deliverance, every pain, every fall has been part of your preparation. Heaven has already recognized you. Now it's time for you to recognize yourself. The enemy has tried to turn you away from this path, but God is intervening. You don't know how much hell dreads what's inside you. If you did, you'd understand why the attacks have intensified. As soon as you've tried to draw closer to God, as soon as your soul begins to emerge, the enemy has deployed discreet strategies to distract you, demoralize you, and turn you away from the truth. He didn't intervene in an obvious way. He took subtle paths, touching on emotions, sowing doubts, awakening traumas, recycling old wounds, because his aim wasn't just to deprive you of peace. His real plan was to divert your purpose. The enemy fears your connection with God. He knows that if you stay on this path, you'll become irresistible. He knows that by positioning yourself, you'll not only be restored, but you'll also become an instrument of restoration for others. He knows that if you obey, crowds will be touched by the light you carry within you. That's why he's created shortcuts, toxic relationships, emotional ties that distance you from the divine presence. People who enchanted you at first, but gradually drained your energy, your faith, and your identity. It was all part of a plan by darkness to stifle your voice. But there's something the enemy didn't count on: divine intervention. God allowed some falls, let some silences pass, even made you feel alone, but he never abandoned you. He was waiting for the right moment to act, and that moment has arrived. You don't hear this by accident. The Spirit of the Lord is now moving in your life. It breaks invisible chains. He undoes spiritual bonds that hold you captive in repetitive cycles of pain, weariness, and confusion. This intervention is not gentle. It is energetic against everything that holds you back. Because when God decides to act, he expels from your life that which occupies inappropriate space. If you feel a weight lifted, a relief, a peace that invades your being, this intervention has already begun. The enemy tried to turn you away from everything God had prepared, but God rises. He now declares, you are being rescued from illusion. You are being called back to the center of the divine will. And this is so powerful that your spiritual eyes will begin to discern with clarity the illusions that appeared harmless. Feel free to make a comment thanking God, as this is a moment of gratitude and thankfulness. Relationships, proposals, distractions, unresolved emotions, all will be brought to light, because God doesn't just want you to get back on track. He wants you to walk in holiness, authority, and conviction. If you feel that this message frees you from something unseen that has always pursued you, don't hesitate to write it down firmly in the comments. The adversary tried to keep you away, but God intervened. I'm on my way again. Write with spiritual strength. Express yourself as someone who has understood that the time for deception is over, as someone who knows he or she has been saved, purified, and carried by the hands of a Father who never gives up. You have not been forgotten. You are not a discarded piece. You are preserved for this very moment. The enemy's plan has failed. God is taking you back to him. A sign will appear in the days to come. You must remain vigilant when God intervenes in someone's life. He doesn't just prepare the way, he also sends signs. Heaven never acts in total silence. There's always an indication, there's always visible movement, always evidence that something bigger is going on behind the spiritual scenes. In your case, that sign has already been released. In the coming days, something will happen that, to the general public, will seem insignificant, but to those with spiritual discernment, it will be immense. It could be a word spoken by someone in an innocuous way, but which will touch your heart deeply. It could be an unexpected encounter, a call, a dream, or even something written on a sign in a book or in a verse. But when it happens, you'll know. There will be no doubt, because your spirit will ignite, tremble, stir inwardly, and then you'll realize that this is the sign. God answers me. You are about to witness the confirmation of all that has been revealed so far. God is not a God of confusion. He is a Father who speaks clearly to those who sincerely seek Him. And right now, He's telling you, stay tuned, I'm about to speak to you. But beware, this sign will not be obvious to those who are distracted. For this reason, you must prepare yourself spiritually. Calm your soul, reduce ambient noise, stop looking for answers in inappropriate places. Close your ears to human voices that don't understand what's going on inside you, and open the ears of your spirit. This sign is not just an answer, it's a key. It will unblock directions, speed up processes, confirm decisions, and break the chains that have held you in indecision. When God sends a sign, He offers you an opportunity, and spiritual opportunities are sensitive moments. They don't last forever. It's crucial to recognize this moment and act on it with faith. Do not neglect this word. You've asked for confirmation, you've prayed saying, Lord, speak to me clearly. Now He's telling you, I've already released the sign, so get ready to perceive it. Perhaps the sign will come through a person you weren't expecting, or from a mundane place, perhaps on a quiet night when all seems calm. But your soul will feel the thrill of divine presence, and when this sign emerges, you must not remain silent. You must respond. That's why prophesy now in the comments with boldness and expectation. This will be a turning point, a decisive moment, because the promise has already been activated, and now heaven is acting with swiftness. Pay attention, get ready, God is going to speak. And when He does, your soul will know it's all true. The seer has delivered a message you need to hear. A man has seen your image, one who fell to his knees, overcome by a fear that few have experienced. He not only trembled, he received a word from heaven specifically for you. This message was not banal or symbolic. It was clear, powerful, and imbued with a profound unction. It was written in the author's own hand, like one bearing a sacred mission, aware that it was not just words, but the recording of a heavenly directive. The communication declared that this person is an instrument reserved for prophetic times. The adversary tried to destroy his identity, his family, his finances, and his faith, but failed. She is protected, marked, and now called to take a stand. God will use this soul to bring salvation to others, but it's time for her to stand up without delay. Then the seer fell silent, hands trembling, eyes misty with tears. The atmosphere was pervaded by a powerful presence, as if the heavens were pressing down on this room. Then he uttered a final sentence, raising his eyes to the sky. Lord, I have surrendered. Now fulfill your purpose for this soul. This message has come to you not through technology, but through spiritual obedience. It was sent in the spirit and is now manifest in the visible. What he perceived was you, but not in the form you see yourself today. He has glimpsed what God discerns. He has seen what darkness fears. He has taken cognizance of what you are about to become. You are not insignificant. You are crucial in the heavenly plan. This is precisely why the announcement is so urgent, because a decision has to be made, a choice must be made, an answer must be given with an awakened soul. You have been summoned to prophetic times. This means you'll experience moments of revelation, spiritual confrontations, manifestations of gifts and authority over circumstances. You won't just survive what you've been through. You will guide wounded people to healing. You'll become a benchmark for faith, where today you're simply a holdout. The time for doubt is over. Confusion is dissipating. Hesitation is being overcome. The message has arrived, and with it, heaven awaits an answer. If you perceive this word as a personal message, write now in the comments with boldness, "I receive this message. Lord, fulfill your purpose in me." Write as one who confidently comes forward, assumes his place, understands that the time for flight is over, declares to heaven, "I have heard, I acknowledge, I accept." God used that seer to get to you, but now it's between you and him. Now it's your faith that will set the movement in motion. It's your choice that will unlock the fulfillment of the promise. The message has been delivered, and all of heaven awaits your response. If you're watching this video, then heaven has chosen you. Thousands of videos are being published right now. Millions of images, voices, messages, and distractions are flooding in. Internet. However, in the midst of this digital crowd, it is this message that has found its way to you. It's not an algorithm, it's not chance, it's not luck, it's a divine designation. You have been selected, and this selection was established long before you were born. In your mother's womb, when your existence was only a promise and a given, God had already inscribed your name in the book of spiritual existence. He had already contemplated your face, recognized your suffering, and proclaimed a mission for you. That's why this message has reached you, for the heavens are not mistaken about the destiny of their words. You're seeing this because it's activation. Time. It's time to stop living by enduring the days and start living as the one who was sent to transform realities. Yes, you've been chosen. And no matter how much the world has rejected you, no matter how much they've said you weren't up to it, no matter how much they've tried to silence you, mocked your faith, or trampled on your emotions, heaven doesn't require human approval to carry out its decrees. The decision is divine, and the call is irrevocable. Many have been called, but few have stood firm to this day. Many have given up. Many have lost their way, but you have persevered. Though wounded, you persevered. In the silence, you had faith. Even when tempted to give up, you remained faithful. That's why this message reaches you today, for God honors those who persist. He visits those who don't give up. God reveals himself to those who, despite the falls, continue to say, "I still believe." If you're listening or watching this right now, heaven has reached you. Maybe you don't feel ready, but God isn't looking for those who are already ready. He calls those who are available, sincere, those who keep a glimmer of hope within themselves. And now he says to you, "You have heard me, and I have raised you up, for it is in you that I have chosen to pour out my light. It is through you that I will reveal my glory. It's by your story that many will recognize that I am God. Yes, heaven has chosen you. And when heaven chooses, no human or demonic force can overrule that decision. If you feel this election burning within you, write now in the comments as an act of faith and total submission. It was with me. God has chosen me. I accept that choice. Write boldly. Write like someone who understands that it's time to act. Like someone who realizes that there's a purpose to every event in his life so far. You are not lost. You've been placed here with purpose. And now that you've heard this word, nothing will ever be the same again. because when heaven chooses you, earth bows, hell retreats, and promises begin to take shape. A promise from God is about to come true in your life. It's essential that you grasp a profound spiritual truth. God never forgets what he promises, even when you doubt, even in pain and silence, even when you feel forgotten, the promise remains alive. It will not perish with time. It doesn't lose power because of the struggles you go through. It's not cancelled out by the failures you've experienced. God's promise for your life is like a seed that remains buried underground, silently, until the right moment comes to break through the surface. That time is now. What God has promised you will come true. Perhaps you don't remember it clearly. You may have stopped praying for it. Maybe you've even tried to bury the dream, thinking it was an imagination, an excess, or even an illusion. But God hasn't forgotten. He's saying to you right now, with the voice of a father, I made you a promise, and I'm going to fulfill it, because I don't lie, I don't fail, and I don't turn in late. Everything you've been through has been a stage of preparation. The pains you have endured, the people who have left you, the paths that have closed. Nothing has been in vain, everything had a meaning. God doesn't build great works on shaky ground. He begins by clearing away obstacles, breaking ties, and destroying old structures. Then he plants, pours out his word, strengthens the roots, and then, in due time, he begins to fulfill what he has promised. God's Spirit is awakening in you the memory of old promises, promises of family restoration, promises of financial provision, promises of emotional healing, promises of ministry, of gifts, of freedom, of prosperity, of new beginnings. Don't doubt it. You've come this far because you're about to experience what seemed impossible. You were tested in the desert. Now you will be lifted up before those who have seen you fall. You silently endured the hardest times. You remained faithful in the little things. You did not deny your faith when everyone expected you to give up. For this reason, God says, you must declare, you must act in faith. If you believe this promise is being released on your life now, write in the comments with all your might. I receive God's promise, and I believe it will be fulfilled without delay. This statement is not just a comment, it's a real act of faith. It's like signing a heavenly contract to manifest this promise, for it has not been forgotten, it has been preserved, and now it's ready to be fulfilled. Whatever was taken from you will be returned with honor. All that was withheld from you will be returned to you with glory. The promise will soon manifest, and when it does, all will see that it is God's work. It's crucial that you act now. The blessing is on its way. You didn't get here by chance. Every word you've spoken so far is part of a much larger plan than you can imagine. But today, heaven is confronting you with a spiritual reality that requires an immediate response. You've heard, you've felt, you've been touched, but the coming blessing requires you to take a stand. Most people desire the promise, but few are willing to adopt the necessary posture. They desire the miracle, but avoid the responsibility. They want to be used by God, but often remain passive, as if everything worked automatically. But it's not like that. The blessing is advancing. It's a fact. It has been released into the spiritual world. However, there is one aspect that only you can accomplish. Respond with action. If you continue to live as if nothing has been revealed to you, nothing will happen. But if you make a concrete decision today, a genuine spiritual choice, heaven will begin to move the pieces of this great puzzle. Right now, angels are mobilizing. A promise is emerging from the prophetic dimension and moving towards your reality. But God is waiting for your reaction. And what he's waiting for isn't just strong emotions. It's about obedience. It's an active faith that manifests itself in your decision to pray every day. It's time for you to cut all ties with environments that distance you from His presence. It's essential to renounce the vices, ties, and people who have been the enemies, tools to lead you astray. It's time to return to reading the Scriptures. It's time for you to declare by your actions, Lord, I'm ready. And don't wait for everything to be perfect. Don't let yourself be trapped by waiting to feel strong. The blessing will come as you move forward. Many have delayed their destiny for years simply because they didn't make the right decision at the right time. But you can no longer afford to wait. It's imperative to act now, not tomorrow, not later, not when all is quiet. Now. Because the blessing is already on its way to you. It's closer than you think. It's knocking on the door of your destiny. You'll feel a sudden upheaval in the hours or days ahead. Some people will move away without explanation. Others, sent by God, will begin to approach you. Doors will open. But all this will be the result of the decision you make today. You need to position yourself as a person of faith, truly. And that's why I invite you to write in the comments right now with authority and spiritual commitment. Today I make my decision. I am ready. May the blessing come. Write with faith, with boldness, with respect. This comment will be your point of contact with heaven. It will be the sign that you've not only heard, but responded. Because there are no more excuses now. Heaven is on the move. The blessing is on its way, and it will come with force, speed, and brilliance. But she must find you ready. This is your moment. Don't turn back. You've just heard a message that doesn't come from me, nor from the internet. It comes directly from heaven. From the very first moment, the Holy Spirit stirred around you. You felt it. You felt no. You have recognized in the depths of your soul that this word was sent directly to your mind. Now it's no longer possible to pretend you didn't hear. Going back to normal is no longer an option. God has given you a revelation. He has awakened a call. He has revived a promise. It has confirmed what the enemy has been trying to hide for years. And the question heaven is asking you now is simple. What will you do with all this? You can leave this video and go on living as if nothing had happened. But you also have the possibility of transforming everything from this moment on. You can take a stand. You can declare with faith in the heavens and even in the underworld. I know who I am, and I'm not going to run away from my destiny anymore. This decision changes everything, because what's about to happen in your life won't be insignificant, discreet, or trivial. It will be something that leaves a lasting imprint on your generation. Miracles will happen. Doors will open. Relationships will be restored. Your finances will undergo a metamorphosis. Your health will be restored. Your ministry will be activated. And above all, your connection with God will reach a level you've never known before. But it's essential to respond. You've heard the call, now act, like this video, as if to say, Lord, I accept. Share it with at least 7 people. You could be the instrument of revelation in someone's life. If you haven't yet subscribed to the channel, do so now. Future messages will continue this incredible spiritual adventure. And if these words have resonated deeply in your heart, don't hesitate to make a super thank you, a contribution of faith, as a sign of gratitude for all that God has communicated to you here. Above all, leave a comment filled with faith and authority. This message was for me. I take it to heart. God is transforming my life today. Write without hesitation, with courage and unshakable faith, because those who recognize God's voice will never be the same. Your presence here is no accident. You've been guided, protected, and brought along with a purpose. And now the story of your life is about to change forever. Heaven has chosen you. God has called you. The blessing is on its way, and the time is now. Phrases. 1. What promises are you looking forward to with faith in your life? Share your expectations in the comments so we can unite in prayer. 2. How do you feel about the change taking place within you? Leave us a word about how this transformation is influencing your spiritual journey. 3. What miracles do you hope to see manifested in your generation? Write down your hopes and let's be inspired by each other. 4. If you're ready to welcome these blessings, simply write, I am receptive to divine grace. 5. Abandon your anxiety with one simple word, I fully believe in His promises.